The more I live a life that is authentic and really honest about what I experience as a human being, along with the actual frustrations and my shortcomings and just the difficult things to look at in the world around me, the more I live this, the more I am aware that I need fundamental reprogramming because I live among a species that is very good at gaslighting itself, at living in a world of its own creation, made really in its own mind rather than the actual world that we live and move and have our being in. And also, I just have a very ingrained habit of escaping from the specters, the fact that I am lost in this world, longing that I can't achieve, lonely in ways that I can't ever quite solve, and just those things just send me to the devil's playground for escape and distraction. Living a life facing up is no easy assignment. But it really boils down to a new way of reacting. And so, what I want to talk about today is the three movements, but not in a theoretical sense, but in a very practical way. Like, how do you do these things? Now, just to review where we've been, way back when I started this, I guess after the first of the year, I decided to share my story with you. I shared my story of putting all of my faith in the Christian story, becoming a preacher and all of that, and how that came apart on me. And I've shared that in the story of my fall. Then I have taken some time to try to describe for you the life that I have entered into when that was gone. And that was terrifying because I lost my faith. I didn't have the ground beneath my feet anymore. The story I had built my life on was gone. So, how do you live without faith? And so, I'm calling this series Life Beyond Belief. What I want to do next is develop a way of helping other people walk through this journey because I'm convinced this is a journey that everybody needs to take if they really want to face life as it is rather than as they would like it to be, as they imagine it, or perhaps avoiding life by escaping it. If you really want to live an authentic life that is meaningful, I think you have to go through the dark night. So the next thing I want to do is develop a way that I could define a path and a process where people could go through this and come out the other side. And then, what I will be doing all along the way is just sort of sharing my life after faith and what it's like to make this a daily practice. That's what I will go back to next week, by the way. I'm just going to start sharing with you again my real life experience of living beyond belief. Today, I give you a preview of something I hope to do a much better job of in the future, and that is to share my daily practice. This is very much a work in progress, but I have been doing some things consistently for the past several years that have been very, very helpful to me. So I want to share those with you. And it's so important to make it practical. I mean, without making it touch the ground, making it practical, it's all just theory. It's like a person who analyzes a golf swing and figures out every angle and every possible movement, but never swings a golf club. This is about swinging the golf club. This is about how do you actually execute this, make it real in your life. And again, for me, this is primarily about fundamentally changing the way that I react, because my natural reaction is not to embrace my life, but to escape it, to escape to some imaginary world rather than live in the real world. So it takes time, it takes practice. It takes kind of retraining the subconscious ways of thinking. So here's what I've been doing, and I'll start it off with a poem. I think I might have shared this before, but it's, again, like all of my poetry, it's not a great poem, but it is accurate in terms of describing what's happening. So it goes like this. I'm falling through the air, from who knows whence to who knows where. I find the songs that to me matter and sing 'em till the day I splatter. I'd love to harmonize with you, make music till the day is through. My life is such a wondrous cup, why not drink it facing up? That little ditty describes the process, or the three parts, the three movements of facing up. And the practice is a practice of facing the three specters and responding not by retreat and fleeing, but by walking through and embracing these truths and finding the deeper life that lies on the other side of them. I call this the three movements. And again, I'm trying to put these in my life in such a way that they become my automatic subconscious response when I run into things. Briefly, to remind you of what they are, the first movement is really, it starts with this fact that we are lost. The specter I'm calling Inyarus. We do not know the answers to the big questions that we long to know. So, of course, one of the ways to respond to that is to just say, well, then life has no meaning. Then I have to come up with a new story, and then Inyarus destroys the story, and around I go on that little loop. But there's an alternative, and this is what I'm trying to ingrain. When I realize that I don't know, and I just go boom, am hit with the vastness of my existence, the mystery of it all, instead of turning to, oh, well, then life has no meaning, choose instead to say, wonder. I choose to live in wonder. I can't explain it, but wow. And because I choose this yes to life, because I choose wonder, I will enter back into my life with a sense of adventure as an expression of my yes to life. No longer trying to use story as the foundation of my life, but allowing story to be the expression of my choice to say yes to life. That's movement one. The second movement, it begins with the second specter, vanitas, vanity, or if you want to call it longing. I am always longing. I can't ever get final satisfaction. So what do? Well, the natural thing is to fall into despair when that hits you, the weight of that hits you. And then to go like, well, I need a new hope. I need to come up with some hope for the future. So you go around in that loop from hope to vanitas, vanity. You realize the hope is not ultimate, and then that throws you into despair. So you need a new hope, and around you go. That's the death option for the second movement. But my desire is to instill in myself a positive, life-affirming option when I'm faced with vanity. Vanity? Vanity or vanitas. I'm going to get it right here. My Latin or English, which is it going to be? So when I run into the futility of life, I can throw my hands up and I can weep in despair, or I can accept that is just how humans perceive the world. I can accept that and realize that the real joy of life is not in getting to the end of the rainbow, but in the play that takes that takes place along the way. That's what I meant to say. So from vanity, I accept that and choose to play. And so that's the second movement. The third movement is the response to the third specter, rapax, or the fact that we are lonely, that really the only thing in this universe that has us as the center is us. And nobody is in it for us like us. And that is just hard to face. And that can make you feel alienated from everyone else. And then you like go like, well, I need to find my tribe or some people who love me. And then you sort of try to have a sense of belonging through conforming or finding a shared story or something. So like, okay, these people love me. Well, they don't really love you. They just, you fulfill a need in their life. Okay, but then they don't love me, and so we're back to like, I feel alienated, and so you go around that circle from Dropbox to alienation, and then trying to cling on to a group that will love you, and then you feel alienated, and then et cetera, et cetera. But the positive side of the third movement is to face the fact that whether we like it or not, and frankly I don't, but whether we like it or not, we live in a world that is based not on everything giving to everything else, but it's based on predation. Everything is in it for itself. Now, I can condemn you for being that way. I can condemn, but if I do that, I have to look at myself because I am exactly the same way. And even when we make up a God, we always wind up with a God who is in it for himself too. The first 4 of the 10 commandments are basically me first, no gods before me, no idols, it's just me first is ingrained in the universe. And that is a really hard thing to take. And I can be angry and alienated, but there is an alternative. I can face up to that fact and choose compassion. Our common curse is our deepest bond, and we're all in the same boat. And it feels marvelous to, rather than to shove someone out, to open your heart up and to let them in. And you expand when that happens. You feel it's one of the greatest feelings that we can experience as human beings, to show compassion. So this is not a workaround for selfishness. I kind of keep making this point, but it's not like I become this altruistic person who's just like all giving. There is no such thing. What I've discovered is that compassion is the most deeply satisfying way that I can live. And so I am compassionate because I am selfish, because being alienated, shoving people out is a miserable way to live. So I choose compassion and then enter back into this world in kindness. So I get that loop going where I am in this world being kind, and then, people are treating me bad. I show compassion and treat them with kindness. And, people are treating me bad. I choose compassion and show kindness. So you get in this loop. These are 3 movements, I'm calling them 3 life-affirming movements. They are a way to be that is not based on any kind of story or faith or anything you have to believe at all. These 3 movements are based on an existential yes, a yes to life. So how do I implement this? What do I do? What do I do when I get up in the morning? Well, when I get up in the morning, like every morning, and I could say almost without fail, I can't think of the last time I skipped this. There are times I get rushed, but usually I get up really kind of early because I really love to ground myself in reality. And I'm a big fan of journaling. I can't remember how 29, I think might be number 30 journals. And I just started this back in 2012 or 13. And it has become a passion of mine to get up in the morning. And I also love fountain pens, and that's kind of a side topic, but sometime maybe I'll make just a fun video about fountain pens. But I'm also working to try to make my cursive more beautiful. If you had seen the way I wrote 10 years ago, you could barely read it. And I'm really enjoying just the discipline of writing. But I would say all of that, the journaling, the writing, kind of, you do what you want to do. I do really like journaling, though. I recommend that. I recommend just getting up and Mine started really, the joy of journaling started when I read Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way. I'm not saying that word right. Um, I like, I loved the freedom that she gave me just to get up and just start writing and just let kind of my thoughts pour out on the page. And so for me, the journaling is not some disciplined, I got to check off 4 boxes, or it's just a very loose time to write. And so what I do, I'm on I put myself on kind of a rhythm that goes like this. On Monday, I focus on the first movement. Tuesday, second movement. Wednesday, third movement. Thursday, first movement. Friday, second movement. Saturday, third movement. And then Sunday, I look at the whole picture. So I go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then look at the whole thing. And it's just a way for me to kind of like, again, to retrain myself when I face these hard facts of life, to not run from them, but to embrace them and move to the life, the new life that's on the other side of faith. So to ground myself in that existential yes. So here's how it goes, and I'll just say a few things about the first, second, and third movement again. On the first movement, the part of my poem that I just shared with you that touches that is, I'm falling through the air. From who knows whence to who knows where. I find the songs that to me matter. So that little part of the poem describes for me just facing Inyarus, facing the fact that I am lost in this world. And affirming, secondly, affirming my yes. I choose wonder. In this world where I feel this lostness, yes, I choose awe. Instead of flipping life off and saying like, who can make any sense of it? I say, well, I can't make any sense of it, but wow. So I choose wonder, and then I express this in a meaningful story. But I hope you heard what I just said. I express my wonder, my embrace of life. I express this in a meaningful story. I'm not looking for a story as the foundation of my life. My story is an expression of my life. So I'm free. I'm free to tell a good story. And I love this because it gives everyone in every situation the ability to look at their life. No matter how sucky your life is, you can always come up with a meaningful story. The most extreme case of this is Viktor Frankl in Man's Search for Meaning. Frankl was a Holocaust survivor who wrote a very famous book, Man's Search for Meaning. I highly recommend it if you want to read a book that in many ways, I guess, inspired me or helped me down the path to the place that I have wound up here. But Frankl, even in his being in a concentration camp, he was a psychologist. So he was saying, like, how do people go on when life really stinks? And his quote that he loves to say is, the person who has a why can put up with any how. You need a focus or a meaningful thing. And another thing he says, which I love, is he says, people are always saying, like, what is the meaning of life? And they're not realizing that really life is the one asking the question of you. What is the meaning of life? You get to answer that question. And that's the freedom that you have when you start with an existential yes. And so this, for me, I won't give you my whole answer, but I will just tell you, a meaningful story to me is one that matches me. So like, I love to think and write, so mine involves thinking and writing. It's working with people. I care a lot about my family, my wife, and so a meaningful story involves them. And so I have a whole game that I'm playing, if you want to call this, a song that I'm singing. This is who I am. This is who I love. This is what I'm good at. This is what I'm going to do. And I can do this anywhere, in any set of circumstances. So my story that I create is not a firm foundation that I'm standing on as truth, capital T. It's not that at all. It is a joyful expression of my life. Okay, I'm falling through the air from who knows whence to who knows where. I find the songs that to me matter, and then we move on to the second movement. Oh, but I skipped something. I wanted to tell you one other thing before I move to the second movement about finding this, about singing the song. I found that breathing is a very useful way to sort of ingrain this. And it's kind of meditation, but I set my alarm, just my timer on my phone for 5 minutes. And sometimes I just turn it off and go longer, but I always do at least 5 minutes of breathing. And it's like, I go like this. I close my eyes. I like to do the Dr. Spock, put my fingers together under my chin. But however you sit, it doesn't really matter. Just get comfortable. And I just breathe in. And I'm not sure where to start this. Let's start with just not breathing at all. And I think of that as the exhale, and I'm just sitting there not breathing. You gotta breathe, right? But the not being able to breathe is like the horrible realization of lostness or inyarus. But so I face that, the inyarus, and then I breathe in nice and slow, and I say wonder. So I wonder, and then adventure, lostness. Wonder, adventure. So that's the rhythm of it. And when I'm saying wonder now, but I might actually be thinking of something as when I'm doing this exercise. I might be thinking of the stars. I might be just thinking of just the miracle of being alive, of being conscious, whatever, just wonder. And when I exhale, when I say the word adventure, I just think about what I'm doing, this story that excites me, this story that expresses my life. I might think about, like how this will impact my wife, or how this will free me in some way. So wonder, and then adventure. Now, just sometimes I do this too, just to remind myself of the death cycle. So I'll start with that exhaled, I'm gasping, and the first thing I do is hope. Just, I'm sorry, I said hope. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll just breathe in very sharply. Faith, nihilism, faith, nihilism, faith, nihilism. It's like a shallow, unsatisfying, panicked kind of breathing. Faith and nihilism, faith and nihilism. And again, with the lostness or inyarus, just like destroying my faith, throwing me into nihilism, faith, nihilism. So a sharp in with faith, a sharp out of nihilism. And I don't do that a lot, but it's just to remind me of how unsatisfying it is to try to build a life on belief. I want to build a life based on my true existence and experience as a human, and that is wonder, adventure. I don't know. Wonder, adventure. So I just throw that out there because for me, that breathing is relatively new. I've just started doing that a couple of months ago, but I found that really helps to make it part of my rhythm of life. So on the second movement, okay, I'm falling through the air from who knows whence to who knows where. I find the songs that to me matter, and here we go, second movement, and sing them till the day I splatter. The second movement is choosing acceptance and play. So again, the death side would be hope and despair. So like I have hope, and then I realize I can't ever achieve the ending, and I fall into despair. The life side is to choose acceptance in the face of life's vanity. So I start by just facing the vanity. And on this morning, and by the way, I mean, when I do this, like, it's not like every time is the same. Sometimes I'll just let it go. Sometimes I'll just really be focused on the vanity of life, and I'll just, let thoughts will go there. Other times I'll be thinking about how I am engaging my story, how I'm playing, and then thoughts will go there. Um, so I'm just saying, I'm not rigidly locked into this. And sometimes I don't even follow the thing, like if something is really burning and I'm like, the first movement is what I really need to, I'm not locked into anything. So don't feel that way. This to me, this schedule that I've come up with, I find to be useful because it helps me sort of even this out and get the repetition and rhythm going, but I'm not rigid about it. Okay, so I start in the second movement with facing vanitas, vanity, a longing. I just like, and I might even think about how if my story comes true, that, my adventure, or I should say my adventure, right, that I came up with as a response to this wonder, if that doesn't happen, is my life over? Is it ruined? And if it does happen, if everything goes just how I want, will that suddenly make everything in life have meaning? No, no, because the joy is not in the end of the rainbow. It's the journey along the way. And so I just face the fact of vanity, but then recognize that the real motivation, the real energy, the real life in life is play, to engage the story. Whatever my story is that I've told, the story, this adventure that is an expression of my life, I engage it playfully, not dogmatically, playfully. I enter in and I engage this. When we're faced with the vanity of life, acceptance could be thought of as sort of like apathy. But acceptance is the furthest thing from apathy, because acceptance frees you to play. And so I've talked about this, and other previous things, so I won't go into all of that. But again, what I do is, I'm writing about this stuff. I'm just thinking about whatever thing that I'm, part of the story or a piece of the puzzle that I'm working on. And I just make myself remember, look, even if this works out perfect, it's not going to fix everything. The joy is in pursuing this meaningful story. And when I finish this story, there'll be another one. And if I need to change the story, I can, because my adventure and play are not the foundation of my life. They are an expression of my wonder and acceptance. All right, that's the second movement. And here too, I have a breathing exercise, and it's very similar, except of course using the second movement theme. So I start with vanity or longing. I breathe in acceptance. I breathe out play. Vanity, acceptance, play. Vanity, acceptance, play. And again, I'm thinking about the things. I'm thinking about the actual things that aren't going to be the end of the rainbow, the vanity of it all. And when I'm accepting the play, I'm just like, oh, but what a joy it will be to live these things out and to engage in this story. Vanity, acceptance, and play. And again, here I have a frantic breath, gasping for breath reminder that this doesn't work. Vanity, hope, despair. Vanity, hope, despair. Just this sort of frantic, gaspy breathing, hope and despair, hope and despair, hope, despair, hope, despair, hope. No. I just remind myself that hope is a carrot on a string. There is no satisfaction in a satisfaction that is in the future. The satisfaction is now in play. But I remind myself, hope, despair, hope, despair. But again, the right way to do it, vanity, acceptance, play. That's the second movement and how I'm putting that into play. And so again, two things I'm doing, and this isn't like rocket science. I just do things. I think about these things. I write about them. I look at the chart. I think about where I am. I think about how I'm going to play. I think about people in my life. I think about how I'm going to be at work today, how I'm going to enter with a playful spirit. So I'm writing about that, and then I'm doing this breathing. By the way, I usually do it in reverse order. I'm telling you the thing and then the breathing. I usually start with the breathing. So that's one last thing I might say. Okay, let me review the poem so far. I'm falling through the air from who knows whence to who knows where. I find the songs that to me matter and sing 'em till the day I splatter. On to the third. I'd love to harmonize with you, make music till the day is through. So I guess it would be on Wednesdays and Saturdays, I think about Rawpox, and I think about my response of compassion and kindness. And again, I write about this stuff in my journal, and I do a breathing exercise. So I start by facing Rawpox. And that could take many forms. It could be just reminding myself of that really I am selfish. Come on. I disabuse myself of the idea that I am a virtuous, beautiful, good, and giving and kind and, whatever, loving creature. I remind myself that love, and I get that this word is confusing, and I'll probably do some videos just on the word love in the future, but love, the more I study this word, the more convinced I am that this word love is the mask of virtue worn by desire. Love is just a word that we cloak desire with. Love just means desire. It just does. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's not necessarily a good thing. It's just like set that aside. Accept the fact that we are always looking for the most meaningful, deeply satisfying experience. We just are. So I face that. I face the fact that everybody, man, is in it for themselves, including me. I choose compassion. So I move from that fact to compassion. I will not condemn anyone for being what I am. And in fact, I can have a lot of compassion for people who are treating me badly because I get what's going on there. I can open my heart to other people. I can let people in. I can try to let them be a part of my life. And when I do that, it expands me. My soul gets bigger. I feel better. I feel more connected. I feel more alive. It's deeply satisfying. I am compassionate because I am selfish, because I would rather do that than shove people away and feel that diminution of my life and of my person and of my soul. I choose compassion. I choose compassion, and then I express that practically in acts of kindness to people. And it feels wonderful. And then people treat me like crap. Because just because I'm compassionate and kind does not change the fact that of Rawpox, of the fact that we are all sort of like, self-centered, and we can be kind to people, and sometimes they don't treat us right. They don't thank us. They don't well, okay, why are we like this? Why am I like this? Why do we get so upset with each other? I can go like, and I can just say, forget people. I just want to be like Daniel Plainview and move far away and bowl in my bowling alley and have no friends. I want want to be Montgomery Burns up in the hill, on the hill in Springfield, all by myself with Smithers to do my bidding, but no friends, no friends. I don't like people. People suck. I mean, I can go there, right? Or again, I could choose compassion. I don't get why the world is this way. I don't get it. I don't get a God who would make a world that's based, as this one is, on predation. I don't get it. I just accept that. I don't understand that, but I do have a choice. It feels so much better to let people in and then to find ways to be kind. I use this word harmony, and I especially like that. I'd love to harmonize with you, make music till the day is through. And, I was a music major. I'm really into music, but I just love how harmony allows each two notes, each itself, to come together and to blend into something bigger than either one by itself. Synergy. I think it's possible, and I'm always looking for that. I'd love to harmonize with you, make music. I have my story here that I'm doing. I enter into the day playful. And who can I harmonize with? How can I share this? How can I be a part of your day? How can your story and my story come together in a harmonious way? So I'm looking for that all the time. And again, I do that by I'm just sort of rambling about these things, but that's kind of what this is a lot of rambling on these three movements. And I just think about that. I think about how I will enter this day with kindness and looking for ways to harmonize and make music with people. And there again is a breathing exercise for this third movement. Same kind of thing. I start with Rapax. Compassion. Kindness. Rapax. Compassion. Kindness. And again, I'm thinking of concrete examples. Sometimes I'm just doing the word. Compassion. Kindness. The kindness is the expression. The compassion is the choice. The kindness is the expression. And backing up to the other three. Wonder is the choice. Adventure is the expression. Acceptance is the choice. Play is the expression. Compassion is the choice. Kindness is the expression. So these breathing exercises are a way that I'm trying to integrate these life-giving affirmations as a part of my life, making them subconscious and automatic. And it's not easy, again, because we are so programmed into the faith, hope, and love way of living, story-based, I will get my way, everything depends on me getting my way, and gaslighting myself that I am this wonderful person with a great story to save the world. And I mean, there's just it's this, and then it doesn't work and we run to the devil's playground. So, I mean, there's a lot of living that really boils down to, escape, just plain old escape. With the third movement, there is, of course, the short breath version as well. So okay, Rapax, alienation, I see, love, alienation, love, alienation, love, alienation. So you can go around in that cycle where you just, I found somebody who loves me. Oh, they let me down. Oh, well, F them anyway, and I'll find somebody else. Love, alienation, love, alienation. Okay, short breath, almost violent breathing. No. Compassion, kindness. Okay, so in each case, I'm journaling, I'm breathing, I'm trying to, and I'm, most importantly of all, I'm entering into the day with this on my mind. I sometimes write on my hand. I just write a word or something to remind me about how I want to put this choice to face up to life into action in the day. This story that I'm telling, this adventure that I'm on, that to me matters, and that I'm singing it, right? I'm doing it, I'm living it, I'm engaged, I'm playful. till the day I splatter. And then I'm looking for people to harmonize with. I'd love to harmonize with you. So here's the whole thing. I'm falling through the air, from who knows whence to who knows where. I find the songs that to me matter and sing 'em till the day I splatter. I'd love to harmonize with you, make music till the day is through. My life is such a wondrous cup. Why not drink it facing up? And so that final phrase, my life is such a wondrous cup. Why not drink it facing up? That's the yes. It all comes down to an existential yes. Not a yes that's based on a story, yes if, yes when, yes because, but no, just yes. Because, why? Because I exist. The same way everything else, as far as I can tell in nature, embraces what it is, where it is, how it is, for as long as it can be. It just is all that it can be. I say yes to life. And the first yes is wonder. The second is acceptance. The third is compassion. And I live that out as adventure, play, and kindness. And this is not just a theory. It is a way of life. And so this was my first attempt at trying to express to you how I'm living this, which really is the most important thing. I hope to get much better at this. One of my games, one of my adventures is to put this together in a form that is compelling and clear and that will be easy for other people to enter into this way of life facing up.